Hi, I'm Ken Sisk and welcome to Wood, Stone, and Steel. Today we are in beautiful Monmouth County, New Jersey to view a newly constructed timber frame barn. Timber framing is not a very standard type of construction, especially here in New Jersey, so it will be interesting to learn from the homeowner why he chose this construction method. Wood, Stone, and Steel will take you on a journey of reconnection with a more natural way of building. We will visit places, buildings, and structures that are primarily made of natural materials throughout the world. In our journey, you will also meet artisans and design professionals who bring beauty, comfort, and familiarity back into our world. I'm with the owner, John, right now. And so, John, again, I think for the viewers, let's talk about what was the inception of the idea to go with a timber frame barn versus standard construction nowadays.
Well, I've always wanted to do a timber frame barn just because I thought, you know, it would kind of match the property. There's a timber frame structure, the house is, and you know, just always wanted to be involved in something like that. It would, you know, it's a real.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I was actually the structural engineer of record on this structure, so.
That's right, yeah.
Full disclosure. And I think this is a good spot to see the 10 by 10 main columns they have here. So again, this wood was taken from somewhere in upstate New York, right?
Yeah, this is tamarack or larch. It was a local grove, a stand of trees on the gentleman's father-in-law's property that was taken down by a lumberjack.
Yeah.
You know, and then dragged out and brought to a mill. Another person milled it. He fitted all the joints together at the shop, took it all apart, and shipped it down here and put it back all together and put it up here.
Yeah, like a puzzle.
Like a puzzle.
Like what was it? A Jenga or Lego blocks? That was similar. But we have mortise and tenon.
But these are the 10 by 10s right here. Serve as temporary furniture.
Hey.
Table and chairs.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. A good use of scrap metal. All we need is a little hot toddy on a cold day today.
Yeah.
Be perfect.
You know, everything was sourced from upstate.
Oh, so it was the same timber gentleman or company that did the timbers, the large timbers plus the flooring?
Yep.
Okay. Because we were here initially when the younger gentleman was actually putting up the large timbers and he was hovering above us.
Jack, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we did preliminary cuts so we could chisel it out. Nice. Okay, I think this is a good time to explain what the difference is between timber frame construction versus post and beam construction versus standard construction we see today. Timber frame construction is primarily made of all wooden components. The timber members are connected through the use of mortise, tenons, and wooden pegs. This is a construction method that's been around for hundreds of years. Post and beam construction is also made of large timbers, but its connection elements are mostly made of steel. These large timbers are held together with a combination of screws, bolts, metal straps, and other steel connectors. Sometimes these metal fasteners are manufactured to make them look more visually appealing because they are exposed elements. Now, standard construction or modern construction is made with 2x material. That would be 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, etc. In contrast, timber frame and post and beam construction require fewer components than standard stick construction. Here is a graphic showing the difference in the number of pieces required. The differentiator with timber frame and post and beam construction is that the large timbers are exposed construction elements. You will be able to see the wood grain and all of its connections while inside the structure, and sometimes even outside the structure. You get to experience the beauty of the natural material that creates the framework of the structure while understanding how the building stands up. In modern construction, the 2x lumber components, which you can buy from any standard building supply store, are put together with nails and glue. All of these wooden elements are then hidden from view by sheetrock on the inside and all different types of siding on the outside. You never get to see these wooden components with a completed structure. And by the way, Timber frame and post and beam construction isn't just limited to barns. There are beautiful private homes, ski lodges, golf resorts, wineries, wedding venues, and even sporting goods stores. There are many companies who specialize in timber frame construction. One in particular that stands out for me is the Shelter Institute located in Maine. The Shelter Institute has both in-person and online courses to teach you how to construct a timber frame building. They have a whole bunch of YouTube videos that show the process in detail, and they really look like they love doing this type of work. For more information, see the link in the description below. You know what? All this timber frame talking got me thinking. Could I put together a mortise, tenon, and peg connection? All right, so now we have the two pieces. Pretty good. Of course, this wood is a spare piece of wood, wasn't just bought. Of course, there's some cracking coming through, so we'll make sure we select the right area to put the mortise and the tenon. I forgot to tell you, I've never done this before. All right, as you see, we have a lot of different slices now, but of course the saw didn't make its way through because it's not big enough. It's the only saw I got, so we're gonna keep going. So we'll just see how square this is right now, where we are. Actually, not that bad. Let the saw do the work, right? Not the most efficient way to saw. We're getting it done now. Ready? One. I think we're there. All right, so now that's the tenon. There's Mr. Mortise. There's the tenon. A little tight. Let's see how tight it is. We have to clean it up. This is a 3/4 inch white oak. It'll be coming right through here, the edge of the first dowel. This will be the second dowel. And once those dowels come right through, the friction alone is going to hold this thing together. And now this will not be able to rotate. I don't know if you can see right through here. Can you see right through?
Yeah.
All right. Kind of showing you exactly where it's going to be going through, but it's going to get through these pieces of wood, make its way through. And what I'll do is I'll make it longer so that, matter of fact, let's make it about this long. So it can stick out the bottom, stick out the top. We'll take about that much right there. Try and drive these through. There we go. All right, we both get both dowels are through. All right, so now here's the tenon, here's the mortise, and here are the pegs making their way through, tying this all together now. So now I cannot rotate this whatsoever. But we did it. Just to show you, again, rudimentary tools, you still can put things together. As far as the glass transom above, I noticed that there was, it's a little different, the glass. It's irregular. Can you describe what type of glass that is?
Yeah, it's called bullseye glass, and the bullseye is actually, you know, comes from the name of the concentric circles, I guess, of the design, but that's actually from the process of making the glass. And the mark in the middle is called the punty scar, and I left that punty scar on the inside because it's actually kind of a sharp edge. And these were made by craftsmen down in South Jersey at a place called Wheaton Arts.
Okay, Wheaton Arts. So they specialize in bullseye glass.
Well, they do all kinds of glass making there.
Okay.
You know, it's a kind of a working cooperative artists, you know, and school.
A school,
Yeah.
how to make glass.
Yeah, I would think they do more than that. I haven't visited a place,
Okay.
but it was recommended to me, and I found them, and they were willing to do it at a pretty reasonable cost. And it actually has a little bit of a tint to it, a champagne tint.
Okay. Wow. That is cool.
Watch your fingers on that. It's some sharp edges.
Yeah, so you can see it's thicker in the middle than it is on the sides. And also, when you look at it on a certain angle, you can see that it's kind of, I guess, yellowish, a little hint.
Yeah, there's
or
it's
hue.
called a champagne
Champagne tint.
Yep. It's a very subtle tint.
And those little flecks that are in there. Yeah, it does. This is definitely handmade. As you can see, this is not factory type of glazing.
Funny when you put it in front of your face.
How do I look?
It distorts your face.
Does it look? How's it look, Victor?
That's when you angle it.
These are not your standard windows. So these were custom made?
Yeah, these were custom made by the builder. These are mahogany windows. The mullion design is based loosely like on an 1840s pattern, a little thicker because we didn't want to go too thin.
Right, 6/6.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the mullion width.
Okay.
Was probably a little thinner in the 1840s, but the design is there. But that's just something randomly I chose. Just might as well pick something.
Yeah, see these little hooks here with the leather strap. Another feature that's unique.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this pin.
Yeah.
You got to take a look at this. Can I pull that pin
Yeah.
out?
Pull it out. Yeah.
Because the viewers got to take a look at this. Now this pin alone, look at that little feature. Now this was made by an artisan, or where'd you get this?
Yeah, but the same person that did all the ironwork, DC Mitchell.
Okay.
In Delaware, and he made those up for me on straps, just reproduction stuff that you would find on an old window. That's how they secured the windows. So when they wanted to open the window, we'll remove the pin. I haven't put in the second holes yet, but when I get around to it, I want to put another hole there so that would hold the window open.
Okay.
But I want to put a screen here, measure the screen first, and then I'll know, where the
Yeah, it looks great.
the sash lifts are not really that traditional. But these windows are very heavy, so I need something to.
Yeah, substantial to pull it
Yeah.
up. I guess one of the things the viewers are going to notice is this beautiful truck we have between us.
Yeah.
So was the intention of this barn also to house this truck?
Yeah, it was a multi-purpose building. One of the purposes primarily was to house the truck, and another would be to serve as a hangout spot and a workshop and a painting studio, as much as possible.
Can you give me a little history on the truck? Because I know the viewers are going to be looking at this and saying, that's an incredible looking truck.
Yeah, it is an incredible looking truck. Thank you. It's a 1952 F1 Ford. It's been restored to original condition. Has a lot of period correct accessories on it, and it's a lot of fun to drive, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work to get there.
I mean, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does. It's
The
stunning
paint job
looking.
is incredible.
Yep. Yeah, people love the color. It's meadow green.
Make sure you watch this video to the end so you can view the musical montage we put together for this truck. All right, so here's some more ornamental metals that you have for the latch. So now, some are reproductions and some are...
Most of these are reproductions. The only thing that's antique is that little twisted hook and eye.
Oh, that's to hold the door
To
back.
hold the door back, yeah. Why not?
It looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the strap hinges are pretty large.
Yeah, they are, and they're holding up the door. They're through bolted with just galvanized bolts. Yeah, they're something. They're stainless steel, actually.
Yeah, I know, that's a custom door that's insulated as well.
Yes.
Got the bullseye glass above it. I see you have the copper drip edge.
A copper drip edge, yes.
So that'll get a nice patina as time goes on as well.
Yeah, that'll darken up. And
That'll add
there's
to the
copper
beauty of
up
it.
there on the roof too.
And then, so this is a lantern that was also made by the gentleman in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is copper.
Yeah, that's a copper lantern. I mean, traditionally they would just have been painted tin, but copper is.
Yeah, it looks like you put a little patina on it before you sent
Yeah.
it. Actually, yeah.
I wanted
Age it a little bit.
the green would be interesting color against the white, so I just
Looks good.
yeah.
All right, so John, let's make our way up top here. I see you have nice metal grating stairs. Work your way
Yeah,
up.
to let more light in.
All right, so you can have the light from top to the bottom. It's not like you have a covering that's solid. I think one of the unique features that you did, as far as even the holders for the stairs, for the platform, we'll call it right here, you
Yeah.
actually had some ornamentation, I guess, or design put into the strap that's holding it up here.
Right, yeah, that was a kind of a happy accident because the iron guy was just like, well,
Yeah,
we need a strap there. I didn't think about that exactly. I said, well, can you make the strap like this? And he said, sure. So we kind of echoed it off of the strap hinges that were
Yeah,
on the doors.
that on the doors.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think if you come over here, you could take a look. Here's two prime examples. If you come
Yeah.
on this side, I can see the nice examples of these straps that they made. Just a little feature. Instead of just having a rectangle of steel, it looks
Right.
really nice. Again, you put the big ornamental posts at every corner.
right, with the urns on the top.
The
and
urns on the top.
we did the beefier ones that were more ornamental in the center,
Yeah,
just to give it some weight.
Yeah, we have this nice overlook and the beautiful chandelier that we have in the barn. You don't see chandeliers in too many bars. I see you got some exterior lights on here as well. I guess when we come around the barn, we can talk about it. But can you talk about a little bit about where did you get them from?
Well, there's a craftsman that I've been working with for many years. He did all the copper fixtures on the property and in the house. All the exterior stuff was done by him. And they're recreations or reproductions of 19th century whale oil lanterns. The two of them, one in the back and one in the front, they're a little bit different. So they're just supposed to represent maybe like somebody that found something like that and had it kind of fixed up, altered, and electrified. Obviously, there's an electric element in the where the whale oil, but it's very detailed. So.
But I think you did mention that he uses period tools.
Yeah, it's all 19th century tools, and it's all based on actual examples that are documented in museums and photographed or drawn.
Yeah, we don't meet many homeowners that have that attention to detail like you do, and
Yeah.
we appreciate it, and the audience appreciates it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I mean, the details are definitely there. There's even a little chain for where the oil is supposed to go into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You went that detailed. I love
Yeah.
it. Looks good from the outside and the inside, John.
It's a nice looking barn.
I'll have the bluestone walkway you put in,
Yep.
adjacent to the house.
Yeah.
Again, I think we talked about even the drip from the side here. You didn't want gutters on it, so we have a nice, we'll
Keeps
say,
the
grating
siding,
away.
yeah,
right?
it keeps the siding clean, and this goes down into a French drain system. And when it really gets raining pretty good, that you can see the water.
Yeah, well thought through, because the wood rot with water, moisture, and you've accommodated that.
Yeah.
You thought about it in advance.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting for the floor to to dry up and close up, hopefully a little bit. I'm gonna wait until the spring and have it sanded and oiled. But that was also green wood ash that was used.
Oh, so the floor is ash.
Yeah, the
Okay.
floor is ash, and
Is there a reason you selected ash versus any other species?
it's very hard.
Okay.
And that's what he had available, so I was like, great. I mean, I love ash. It's very much like oak.
You got this big beam here. So, full disclosure, I know
Yeah.
this is a hoist beam
Yeah, it's
that
a hoist
you wanted.
beam. Yeah, it's supposed to be an actual working beam, and it will be. And as I get up the courage to use it one day, we've already installed the
Yeah,
the shell block and the
eye hook.
the eye bolt that goes through the beam. And I actually painted the top of the beam just to give it more weather protection.
Okay.
The beam is oiled. And that shell block, I need another shell block and a cleat over there so that I'll have I could hoist probably an engine up here if I had to.
Yes, I know. I designed
Yeah.
it so you could have up to 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
We're good to go.
All right.
Yeah, I did notice when I came back, the wood, the grain seemed to pop a little bit more. Did you do anything?
We ran everything over with a festool sander and just sanded it up so that it's more or less smooth and splinter free to the touch.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't go too crazy with it, but we just passed over it with the
Right, but
sander.
it looked like it brought out the grain of the wood, the color.
Yeah, it did something with it. It made it a little bit more dynamic.
Although my memory could be foggy, but it looks...
it sparked it up. It made it look
Yeah.
a little different. It looks nice with the paint inside the beams. They have the white.
Yeah.
For the reflective, and you all the wood is just left as it was. It was pretty rough from the from the mill.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
It was
It was natural.
natural. It was cut from the mill like that. So wanted to give it a little smoother finish.
Yeah.
Like all big things, this project started off with a dream of constructing a timber frame barn. The owner's attention to detail is evident. Details like the door strap hinges, custom handmade glass for the windows and bullseye glass transom, and even an old tailgate from a Ford pickup truck from years gone by. Not many barns have well-oiled lanterns or even a grand chandelier. This project shows you some of the possibilities you may want, or maybe it inspired you to think of other unique ideas for your next build. Remember, it all starts with a dream. Keep on the lookout for a follow-up video about this owner's 18th century smokehouse, which was recently converted into a she shed for his wife. Constructed with raw tree components and a more primitive type of construction called the scribe rule.
Because it's nice to see the finished product. Because John,
Yeah.
you've put a lot of effort into this. It is.
Yeah.
It's like a museum piece of a barn.
It is. I went probably a little bit too much with it.
Yeah, but we all appreciate it
Yeah.
because it looks incredible. Well, I hope you liked this episode of Wood, Stone, and Steel and what timber framing is all about. And if you did like it, make sure you hit like and subscribe below. Our next episode will feature a unique company named Jack Badger out of Old Glossop in the United Kingdom. They specialize in all forms of wood joinery, especially with quarter sawn oak. And by the way, I'm sure you noticed this beautiful 1952 Ford pickup truck behind me. So enjoy this quick musical montage that we put together. remember, if you don't like this type of material, make sure you hit the like button 3 times.